the idea that you actually need to eat and fuel yourself before your training is actually fundamentally wrong. You have glycogen levels that you can tap into for training. You have body fat that is an amazing fuel source, especially when you want to be very focused. And, as well, there's another phenomenon. I mean, fat loss is always going to come down to the calorie deficit. But first thing in the morning, your cortisol levels are highest. And when you eat food and you spike insulin with high cortisol, that's like not the best combination. That's a great combination for fat storage. So, I mean, for many different perspectives, it just makes sense to get that first part of the day fasted, train your body to use fat as a fuel source, and then start to replenish your body later in the day. And it sounds counterintuitive if you're used to having to fuel your body for exercise,
right?
But it's actually more effective to take in more calories post-workout when you can actually replenish glycogen and you can train. And some people talk about this super glycogen compensation effect, where when you're training mostly fasted or on low food, you're depleting so much glycogen because you're not using carbs that you just ate for fuel. So you actually can store more glycogen in the muscles as a compensation. Now, if that, like, the extent to which that is true, we don't know. But there is something there. I have been training since I was 13, 14 years old. At 20, I started 19, 20, I started to do fasting, and it just made a very strong difference. Like, I enjoy training more. I started to do a little bit of a recomposition. But there's very cool, benefits to fasting. It actually boost luteinizing hormone, which is a precursor to testosterone. There's some improvement in androgen receptor density, which is like how your body soaks up and utilizes your testosterone levels in the muscle tissue. So there's some very cool, profound benefits to fasting. But if we were going to get down to the number one reason why someone would fast, it is this. Okay. Let's say you have John is 200 pounds. 210 pounds, and he wants to get down to 190. Okay. So he has to eat at a calorie deficit. He has to eat, 2,300 calories a day. Ultimately, to achieve that goal, and a lot of the health benefits will tend to come from losing body fat and eating in a calorie deficit, as opposed to just, fasting itself. But how do we make those 2,200 calories as enjoyable as possible? Is it to eat 400 calories first thing in the morning, a snack, a really small lunch, a boom, 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 a tiny dinner? Hell no. For most people, it's going to be, we're going to fast till 1 o'clock. I'm going to eat, a decent lunch that's going to satisfy me enough to get me to dinner time at 6, 7, 8 p.m. I'm going to have a nice big feast. And then if I want to have a few hundred calories at 10, 11 o'clock, as a snack, for me, I finish off my day of eating with a Magnum ice cream bar. It's just under 300 calories. Sometimes I'll literally have 2 of them, and I'll be under my calories, and I'll do that while cutting to 6% body fat. It's pretty damn crazy. So ultimately, you want to find the most enjoyable way to be in a calorie deficit.